Hello and welcome to Round 4 Flicks. White audiences have always found science fiction to be quite appealing, and why not? When a science fiction film is done correctly, it offers the audience an intellectually compelling tale along with stunning graphics and first-rate special effects. In order to establish a sense of awe about the cosmos and the characters they are portraying, today we are going to discuss 10 outstanding science fiction movies that fully use their themes. Please share your favorite science fiction movie in the comments section below. Let's now begin the video. Number 10. The Blackout. Igor Baranov is the director of this sci-fi action thriller film. The story is set in the midst of a terrible incident in which everything went wrong, and nearly every community on Earth lost contact with one another. However, a small area in Eastern Europe that resembles a ring maintains electrical power, and reports that life is present in space. But what the armed forces find outside the ring are dead people everywhere. Consequently, the fundamental issue you should be asking at this moment is who is accountable for this sad event, who is killing people, and who is eradicating all life on Earth. And that is the tease that keeps you interested. The remaining time of the film demonstrates how the military tries to communicate with the rest of the globe and determine what happened. The 2 hours of the story are also crammed full of action, with the first hour being primarily focused on the plot and characters and the second on crazy action blackout. The action-packed battle scenes and the moving end credits are the film's best features, both of which contribute to a satisfying viewing experience. Number 9. Fast Color. Julia Hart is the director of this superhero sci-fi film. The story centers on Ruth, a young woman with amazing abilities who has to flee after her abilities are discovered. With nowhere else to turn and being chased by unidentified forces, she decides in desperation to return to her family and the rural house she had previously left behind. As soon as Ruth gets there, she meets up with her mother and daughter, who had been separated, and they try to teach her how to control her abilities. The trio starts to feel like a family at that point. As her hunters approach her, Ruth is once more compelled to face her dark side and past. Yes, it has the classic superhero on the run notion, but this isn't your run-of-the-mill superhero flick. Rather, it's a gorgeously filmed movie with a very original premise and a twist on the standard superhero storyline at every turn. People should still watch it, despite the fact that it occasionally moves slowly and strangely, to experience a new superhero vibe. Number 8. I Am Mother. Grant Sputor is the director of this cyberpunk sci-fi thriller film. The plot is set after humanity has been wiped out, and centers on a teenage girl named Daughter, who receives care from an artificial intelligence developed to aid in the repopulation of the Earth. As Daughter gets older, she learns that she is the last surviving person, and that interacting with anyone else could be detrimental to her wellness. However, her quiet existence is disturbed when a person shows up at the facility, and alleges that she was attacked by a robot. At this point, the narrative takes a dark turn as the daughter is made to question her mother's motivations and veracity in the face of the woman's appearance and her assertions. She will have to leave her mother, the only family she has ever known, or be eliminated if she chooses to trust the woman. The movie's first half is contemplative and plotting, but the general attention is maintained by the creepy subterranean atmosphere. Overall, it's a highly unique, spooky sci-fi robot thriller that takes a fresh approach to the robot and post-apocalyptic cliches, which substantially improves the story the entire time. This film provides just the right amount of an innovative viewpoint to keep viewers engaged, and considering concerns surrounding how people and technology interact. Number 7. Prospect. Zeke Earl and Chris Caldwell are the directors of this sci-fi adventure film. The story revolves around a little girl and her father, who traveled to a faraway alien colony in the hopes of becoming wealthy. Everything started when they were granted permission to take large quantities of the valuable jewels hidden beneath the dangerous rainforest on the planet. However, they don't realize that others are also scavenging the forest, and as a result, their simple task quickly turns into a battle for survival. Unexpected events force the girl to negotiate not only with her father's greed but also with the other nasty creatures of the forest, forcing her to forge her own escape route. However, there are a few plot holes that make the story feel a little hollow. Prospect is a powerful, realistic space sci-fi thriller with gorgeous costumes and an original but straightforward storyline. The story is placed in the more realistic end of science fiction, but it contains subtly shared hints of a deeper and more imaginative world in favor of a wholly compelling premise. Fans of science fiction should watch this overlooked movie. Number 6. Repeat. Grant Archer and Richard Miller are the directors of this sci-fi thriller movie. The story revolves around Ryan and Emily, whose marriage is disintegrating as a result of Sam's strange disappearance after school. However, one day while working on one of his many research projects, Ryan discovers the unbelievable ability to communicate with the dead. Ryan is a psychologist by training and spends the majority of his time giving lectures at colleges. However, his happiness is temporary when he tries to get in touch with his missing daughter, putting her in peril. But when every chance falls through, he chooses to look into the matter on his own, disregarding the repercussions, in an effort to discover the truth. The movie Repeat alternates between science fiction, a mystical tale, and a small amount of terror rather than being about science or technology. However, despite its cheap budget and acceptable CGI, the movie still offers a compelling story that will hold your attention through to the very end. Number 5. I Origins. Mike Cahill is the director of this sci-fi romantic drama film. The story revolves around biologist Dr. Ian Gray and his assistant Karen as they conduct a thorough investigation into the evolution of human eyes. He discovers information that could have a big impact on the entire human species, but his fascination with eyes finally takes them into areas that have important social and psychological implications. You should be interested in this movie enough to watch it based on what he learns during his search, because revealing any more plot specifics would constitute a spoiler. The film provides a very fascinating viewpoint on a scenario that has the potential to have the greatest impact on humanity. This wild story is undoubtedly better experienced in person. Because it combines romance and science fiction, some people might shun it, but if you're interested in experiencing science fiction in a unique way, you're in for a real treat. Number 4. OKJA. Bong Joon-ho is the director of this sci-fi fantasy adventure film. The story of the movie centers on Mija, who has spent the last 10 glorious years caring for and residing with the huge beast OKJA on her family's property in the South Korean highlands. However, everything changes when something is taken by a family-run international business, Miranda Organization, and sent to New York. There, an executive director with extreme goals for Midge's best friend now, in an effort to save her companion Midge, embarks on a rescue operation that throws her into the middle of a shady business scheme. The comedy and emotions in the film were top-notch, but the story's core strength, which raises it to greatness, is the friendship between a girl and her pet Akka. This is in addition to the film's incredible visual effects, which realistically brought its animal hero to life. The film has unquestionably hard and outstanding performances throughout, despite being somewhat weird and inconsistent. Number 3. The Maze Runner Trilogy. Wes Ball is the director of this dystopian sci-fi film. This movie is the first in a trilogy called The Maze Runner, which consists of 3 excellent movies with unique sci-fi locations and concepts. The main character of the story is Thomas, who is abandoned in a community of males after having his memory erased, and who is similar to the other young people who were there before him because they also have no memory of their previous life. They are all stuck in the center of a huge maze with no way out, but as soon as Thomas arrives, he displays a unique frame of view, elevating him to runner level. Here, the runners stand in for individuals who look for a route out in the ever-changing maze. Thomas teams up with other runners, the strange newcomer, and the only girl in hopes of finding freedom. The adventure you will witness in the next 2 movies is made possible by this innovative setting. The third film is about a fatal ailment for which Thomas and his crew search for a solution, while the second movie is set after their escape, which places them in another trap. Even if the last 2 movies aren't as fantastic as the first, after viewing the first you won't be able to avoid seeing them. You won't be able to predict the plot's many puzzles and surprises, which are absolutely out of this world. Number 2. Predestination. Michael Spierig and Peter Spierig are the directors of this sci-fi action thriller. The main character of the story is the Barkeep, a gifted time traveler who must find the one criminal who has eluded him throughout time in order to complete his final assignment. His intention is to return back in time to prevent the assault in New York in 1975, but the search turns out to be beyond the realm of possibility, and the pursuit turns into a startling and perplexing examination of romance. Limitations on time travel and destiny identification. Predestination thrives on its many twists, and demonstrates all the qualities that good science fiction should possess. It is both original and strange, and Ethan Hawke and Sarah Snook give superb performances that further enhance the film's captivating nature. Overall, it is a surreal time travel movie that excels at engaging the intellect and touching the audience's emotions with its unexpected turns and twists. Number 1. The Man from Earth. Richard Schenkman is the director of this sci-fi drama film. The story revolves around lecturer John Oldman, whose impromptu farewell party turns into a sinister investigation when he reveals to his co-workers that he has a more complicated and sinister past than they can all imagine when he claims that he is a prehistoric who has been hiding out for more than 14,000 years. The majority of the film is set in the elderly man's house, and the conversations he has with the other academics about philosophy are what drive the plot forward. Few of you might notice this one because most people associate science fiction with plots involving technology gone wrong, aliens, or other planets, all of which are absent from this one. There is only science, which manipulates your beliefs and perceptions. That is all for today. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our channel to view future videos about suggested movies and television shows.